Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we are going to talk about our course paper titled The Analysis of Language Programs and Policies in Matatag Curriculum, Tracing Curricula Roots. So to begin, Philippine education system continuously changes over time. From the 1991 new secondary curriculum up to the latest one, which is now the Matatag curriculum, aims to improve the quality of education and respond to the needs of the learners and the society. It highlights the importance of the curriculum in developing literate, skilled, and globally competitive students. This course paper discusses the major curriculum reforms implemented in the Philippines, including the new secondary education curriculum, basic education curriculum, secondary education curriculum, K-12 program with implementation of the mother tongue-based multilingual education, and the Matatag curriculum. Each reform aimed to improve teaching, learning, and learners' foundational skills. So this course paper emphasizes the importance of the language in education. It explains that language helps learners understand lessons, express their ideas, and improve literacy and academic performances. So, furthermore, this course paper explains different language programs and policies implemented by the Department of Education, such as the Mother Tongue-based multilingual education, Madrasa education, IPED, and the bilingual education policy. So these programs support inclusive and culturally responsive education for diverse learners. So, moreover, this course program or this course paper also discusses the continuing program problems in reading comprehension and literacy among Filipino learners despite curriculum reforms. It explains that the Matatag curriculum was introduced to address these issues and strengthen the foundational skills. And lastly, it presents the purpose of the study, which is to examine the language, programs, and policies in the Matatag curriculum and trace their connections to the previous Philippine curricula and reforms, which is now the Matatag curriculum.
At this moment, I will be discussing the methodology of this paper. So first off, we have the research design. So we have utilized qualitative descriptive research design because, of course, our only focus for this paper is to describe and to analyze the language programs and policies in Matatag curriculum and then trace its roots from the previous language programs and policies under different curricula. We did not use numerical data or statistical methods in this paper. Next is the source of data. So we have used secondary sources such as curriculum guides, DepEd orders and policies, official documents from previous Philippine curricula, and related studies or journals about language policies and curriculum reforms. Now, for the data gathering procedure, first, the researchers identified the language programs and policies implemented under the Matatag curriculum, and then traced their connections to previous Philippine curricula. And then, the second step is relevant documents, curriculum guides, DepEd orders, and related literature were collected, reviewed, and organized. Finally, similar policies, programs were grouped together to trace the development and changes in language policies across different curricula, and then we have come up to a conclusion on why the Matatag curriculum have implemented different language programs and policies policy documents, and related literature to identify the language programs and policies in Matatag curriculum. Now, we also use comparative analysis because we compared the language programs and policies implemented in Matatag curriculum and the language programs and policies implemented from the past curricula from 1991 to K-12 curriculum. That's it for my part. The next part will be discussed by Mike.
Alright, so today, tonight, we will now proceed to the data information that we gathered. So first, we have the department, the under the Matatag curriculum language program or policy. So first is the department of Level Order number 20, series of 2025, and the MOI removal or the MPPMLE. So Level Order number 20, series of 2025, revised the language policy in the Matatag curriculum by removing the mother tongue-based model education or the MTBMLE as the primary medium of instruction in kindergarten to grade 3. Filipino and English are now used as the main language of instruction to strengthen literacy and communication. So the root curriculum or program or policy is the policy originated from mother tongue-based model education or the MTBMLE, Left Order number 74, series of 2009, Republic Act number 10533 or the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2015. So MTBMLE used learners' first language to improve comprehension and learning in the early ages. So why it was implemented in Matatag? So the policy was implemented to address challenges in MTBMLE implementation, solve the shortage of localized learning materials, reduce difficulties caused by multiple local languages, and improve learners' literacy and reading performance using Filipino and English. So now that we have discussed the changes in the language of instruction, let us move on to how the Matatag curriculum simplified and improved the overall curriculum structure. So which is the Department Order number 10, series of 2024, the Matatag curriculum most essential topic for learning or the MOPL. So Department Order number 10, series of 2024, introduces the Matatag curriculum, which focuses on essential learning competencies, foundational literacy, numeracy, and character development. The curriculum is streamlined to make learning more focused and manageable for learners and teachers. So the root curriculum of program or policy, the Matatag curriculum is rooted in most essential learning competencies, which is or the MELCs, Left Order number 12, series of 2020, understanding by design or the UPD framework. So MELCs prioritize the most important competencies that learners need to master. So why it was implemented in Matatag? So the curriculum was implemented to decongest the overloaded curriculum, focus on foundational skills, improve mastery of competencies, reduce learning gaps, and enhance the quality of education and learner outcomes. Since foundational learning is a major focus of the Matatag curriculum, the Department of Education also strengthened programs that improve learners' reading abilities, which is the Department Order number 13, series of 2023 for the National Reading Program or NRP under the National Learning Recovery Program or the NLRP. So that Order number 13, series of 2023, strengthens the National Reading Program to improve the reading proficiency and literacy skills of Filipino learners as part of the National Learning Recovery Program. The root curriculum program or program policy, the policy is based on Every Child Every Day program or the ECAR, Left Order number 70, series of 2011. ECAR aimed to develop every Filipino child into an independent and proficient reader through systematic reading instruction. So why it was implemented in Matatag? The program was implemented to address the reading crisis among learners, improve reading comprehension and fluency, strengthen foundational literacy skills, and support learning recovery after disruptions in education. So aside from strengthening
public schools and madrasa institutions. So its curriculum and the program or its policy, the policy originated from the Arabic language and Islamic values education or the ALIVE program, and also it is originated by the Decade Order number 51 series 2004. So the ALIVE program integrates Arabic language instruction and Islamic values into the basic education curriculum. So why was it implemented in Matatag? So the policy was implemented first is to promote inclusive and equitable education. Second is to provide culturally responsive learning. Third it is to support Muslim learners' identity and values. And lastly, it is to align madrasa education with Matatag goals for quality education. So similar to the support provided for Muslim learners, the Matatag curriculum also ensures that indigenous learners receive culturally responsive and inclusive education. So we have the Indigenous Peoples Education or the Decade Order 10 Series 2024 IEPED. So the Matatag curriculum strengthens the indigenous people's education or the IPED program through culturally appropriate and community-based learning approaches for indigenous learners. So the policy is rooted in indigenous people's education program and the Decade Order number 62 series of 2011. So these policy established the National Indigenous Peoples Education Policy Framework, which protects and promotes the rights of indigenous peoples through culture-responsive education. So why it was implemented in Matatag? So the policy was implemented, it is first to ensure inclusive and accessible education for indigenous learners. Second, it is to preserve indigenous culture, traditions, and knowledge systems. Third, it is to promote culturally relevant instruction. And lastly, fourth, to support equity and diversity in education. So the Matatag curriculum strengthens Philippine basic education by improving literacy, simplifying curriculum, and promoting inclusive and culturally responsive learning for all Filipino learners.
Now let us move to the application. The finding of this study provides a significant application for students, teachers, curriculum developers, policymakers, and future researchers. This involves in language education and curriculum development in the Philippines. For students, the study implies that the Matatag curriculum is designed to strengthen their foundational literacy skills, particularly in reading, writing, and communication, to help improve their overall learning performance. Now, for teachers, the study highlights the importance of effective implementation of language program through appropriate teaching strategies, continuous training, and understanding the policy changes to better support the learners in multilingual and diverse classroom. For curriculum developers, the findings imply the need of continuous refine and involved language program by building on a previous curriculum reforms. Ensures that the curriculum remains focused, relevant, and responsive to the learner's needs. Now for the policy makers, the study suggests that the importance of creating novel, planned, evidence-based language policies that address our real classroom challenges such as literacy gap, curriculum overload, and the implementation of difficulties, while ensuring the consistency across the reform. For future teachers, researchers, the study implies that the need of further investigation on how the Matatag curriculum is implemented in the actual classroom, particularly its impact on learners' literacy development, future practices, and the educational outcomes. Next is the conclusion. So this study examined the language programs and policies implemented in the Matatag curriculum namely the 1991 New Secondary Education Curriculum, 2022 Basic Education Curriculum, 2010 Secondary Education Curriculum, and the new Developed Basic Education Program, the MTB and LE. The findings show that the language program under the Matagal curriculum are not entirely new initiatives, but are developed and refined and revisions of the earlier language-related policies in the Philippines basic education. Specifically, the study revealed that key components such as the removal of the MTB and LE as a primary medium of instruction, the streamlined curriculum focusing on the essential learning competencies and strengthen the reading program and rooted in the earlier reforms such as the RA 10553 under the Department Order number 012 section N 2022 and the ECARP under the Department Order number 70 section N series of 2011. This program were modified and reconstructed in response of the implementation challenges, including the learning gaps in reading, curriculum congestion, and difficulties in managing the multilingual instructions. And overall, the Matagal curriculum reflects continuation and refinement of previous language policies rather than a complete shift. It demonstrates the effort by the Department of Education to strengthen the foundation literacy, improving our curriculum delivery, and address the existing challenges in the reading and comprehension. This evolution of the language program and policies highlights the ongoing development of the Philippine basic education in response to the learner's need and educational demands.
So that's all for our topic this evening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.